one man died naked in a shower from repeated blows. The Abu Ghraib prison, a notorious facility built in the 1960s, saw unimaginable horrors unfold for decades. This infamous site, initially constructed by British contractors, was transformed into a symbol of systematic abuse, first under Saddam Hussein's regime, where thousands of political prisoners faced torture and execution before the 2003 invasion. The true extent of its dark history emerged again in the 21st century, when the United States military took control after the overthrow of Hussein. Between October 2003 and May 2004, a period spanning 8 months, shocking revelations of detainee abuse by U.S. Army personnel and CIA operatives surfaced. These atrocities involved severe physical, sexual, and psychological torment inflicted upon Iraqi detainees, many of whom were held without charge. The public became aware through graphic photographs and videos leaked in April 2004, igniting international outrage. These images depicted soldiers humiliating prisoners in various ways, including forced nudity, mock executions, and sexual assaults. Several high-ranking officials, including Major General Antonio Taguba, confirmed widespread systematic abuse in his detailed report. 11 U.S. soldiers faced criminal charges, with 11 eventually convicted. Specialist Charles Grainer Jr. received the longest sentence, a 10-year prison term for his central role in the abuses. Private First Class Lindy England became another widely recognized figure due to her prominent appearance in the disturbing photographs. The scandal involved an estimated several hundred victims, whose stories of mistreatment ranged from deprivation of sleep and food to being terrorized by dogs and subjected to extreme temperatures. The United States government faced immense criticism for its interrogation policies and the perceived failure to properly supervise and train personnel. The fallout led to a significant loss of international credibility for the U.S. and intensified anti-American sentiment across the Middle East and beyond. The lasting impact on the victims included severe post-traumatic stress disorder and other long-term psychological damage. The prison was eventually handed back to Iraqi authorities in 2006 and later fully closed by the Iraqi government in 2014 due to ongoing security concerns and its persistent negative symbolism. The memory of Abu Ghraib serves as a stark reminder of the devastating consequences of unchecked power and the critical importance of accountability in wartime operations. The events reshaped global perceptions of America's human rights commitments and fueled intense debates about the Geneva Convention's application in modern conflict. A man perished unclothed in a shower after repeated blows. This truly unimaginable horror unfolded inside the infamous Abu Ghraib prison, a vast facility initially constructed in the 1960s by British contractors, which later became a chilling symbol of systematic abuse and profound cruelty. For many decades, thousands of political prisoners faced brutal torture and even execution within its walls under Saddam Hussein's oppressive regime prior to the 2003 invasion. The true full extent of its dark history resurfaced sharply in the early 21st century, when the United States military assumed control following Hussein's overthrow. Between October 2003 and May 2004, a critical period lasting 8 months, shocking evidence of widespread detainee abuse by U.S. Army personnel and CIA operatives horrifyingly came to light. These atrocities involved severe physical, sexual, and psychological torment inflicted upon numerous Iraqi detainees, many of whom were held without any formal charges whatsoever. The world learned of these shocking deeds through graphic photographs and videos leaked in April 2004, sparking immense global outrage and immediate condemnation. These disturbing images clearly showed soldiers humiliating prisoners in various degrading ways, including forced nudity, mock executions, and unspeakable sexual assaults. Several high-ranking officials, including Major General Antonio Taguba, confirmed widespread systematic abuse in his thorough, detailed report. 11 U.S. soldiers faced serious criminal charges, with all 11 eventually convicted for their roles. Specialist Charles Grainer Jr. received the longest individual punishment, a 10-year prison term, for his primary central role in orchestrating these abuses. Private First Class Lindy England became another widely recognized individual, appearing prominently in many of the disturbing photographs that shocked the world. The devastating scandal affected an estimated several hundred victims, whose harrowing stories of mistreatment ranged from being cruelly deprived of sleep and food to being terrorized by dogs and exposed to extreme temperatures. The United States government faced intense widespread criticism for its deeply flawed interrogation policies and the perceived utter failure to properly oversee and adequately train its personnel involved. The widespread repercussions resulted in a significant loss of international credibility for the United States and intensified anti-American feelings across the entire Middle East and far beyond its borders. The enduring traumatic impact on the victims included severe post-traumatic stress disorder and other long-term psychological damage that lingered for years. The prison was ultimately returned to Iraqi authorities in 2006 and subsequently completely closed by the Iraqi government in 2014 due to ongoing security concerns and its persistent negative symbolism. The chilling memory of Abu Ghraib stands as a stark warning about the devastating results of unchecked power and the critical absolute need for accountability in wartime operations. These profound events deeply reshaped global views of America's human rights commitments and fueled intense discussions about the crucial application of the Geneva Conventions in modern conflicts. A testament to lasting shame, it shattered trust across continents. The Abu Ghraib scandal exposed a dark underbelly of human cruelty that reverberated globally for many years. The profound outrage erupted in April 2004, reaching far beyond borders. International human rights organizations issued hundreds of condemnation statements criticizing the United States for systematic failures. Estimates suggested over 80 countries publicly criticized the actions, contributing to a significant decline in global perception. America's standing on human rights plummeted over 50 points in many global polls, a massive blow to its moral authority, unmatched in recent decades. Hundreds of victims endured lasting psychological scars, with many suffering from post-traumatic stress disorder for well over 15 years. Former detainees recounted harrowing nightmares, persistent anxiety, and deep-seated distrust. Their families also faced immense societal stigma and economic hardship in the aftermath. The United States military spent many millions of dollars on extensive investigations and legal proceedings. The detailed Taguba report alone documented dozens of instances of grave abuse across over 50 pages, outlining significant command failures. These investigations led to more than 20 separate internal military inquiries, and over 250 military personnel faced some form of disciplinary action or demotion. 11 U.S. soldiers received criminal convictions, with sentences ranging from mere months to a full 10 years. Specialist Charles Grainer Jr. ultimately served nearly 9 years of his 10-year sentence as a key figure in the abuses. Private First Class Lindy England received 3 years imprisonment, her image becoming a global symbol of the torment. General Janice Karpinski, one-star general, was notably demoted to colonel in 2005, a direct consequence of her leadership failures at Abu Ghraib. The public debate intensified sharply surrounding enhanced interrogation techniques and their legality under international law. Serious questions arose regarding the use of waterboarding on 3 alleged terror suspects by other U.S. agencies. The moral compass of the entire nation faced intense scrutiny and widespread public disillusionment for several years. United Nations officials universally condemned the actions, citing clear violations of Geneva Conventions articles. Article 3, common to all 4 Geneva Conventions, was frequently cited by numerous international legal experts and critics, highlighting the severe breaches. The Abu Ghraib scandal became a potent recruitment tool for extremist groups worldwide for well over a decade, fueling anti-American sentiment across the Middle East by an estimated 30% or more. The long-term geopolitical costs were immeasurable, complicating diplomatic efforts and international relations for more than 15 years in the region and beyond. Many nations grew deeply wary of U.S. assurances regarding human rights protocols and adherence to international law. The prison itself was eventually returned to Iraqi control in 2006. It finally closed its infamous gates permanently in 2014 due to ongoing security concerns and its deeply negative symbolism. The physical structure may now be gone, but its dark legacy continues to persist as a permanent reminder of ethical boundaries tragically crossed. The urgent need for rigorous oversight of military operations and accountability for misconduct remains paramount in all conflicts. Lessons learned from Abu Ghraib continue to influence military training doctrine and ethical guidelines today. New policies were implemented to actively prevent similar abuses in future conflicts. Globally, over 1,000 revisions to detention policies were made between 2004 and 2008, aiming to strengthen protections for all detainees worldwide. The shadow of Abu Ghraib continues to profoundly shape discussions on war justice and human dignity for generations. Its impact on public trust in government and military institutions remains deep and unsettling. The estimated cost to the U.S. taxpayer for these investigations and legal fees exceeded $100 million, adding to the intangible costs of lost international reputation and credibility.